All right, guys, I got a very special video for you guys here today. I wanted to take you back to a much more simpler time. Now, the video that we're going to go over here today is from the late, great Kevin Samuels. Title of this video, Tracee Ellis Ross, High Value Men Don't Want Happily Single Women. Now, the reason that I want to go over this content is that Kevin was just trending all over Twitter because of comments that he made almost 5 years ago in regards to Tracee Ellis Ross, and the things that he says within his monologue, within his discussion, perfectly predicted what we just saw of Tracee Ellis Ross on the Michelle Obama podcast. It's crazy to think how much of the GOAT Kevin was to be able to accurately predict her specific situation. And even we're 5 years into the future, his words, as you will see, will continue to resonate, because although he's utilizing Tracee Ellis Ross, it's not just about her, right? It's about the bigger picture, the patterns, the mindset, the behavior that he was calling out, and that his message just resonated so damn much. Now, for context, this video was recorded October 14th, 2020, and I went back into the archives just so we can understand. So Average at Best was recorded about a month or so after. So Kevin was successful at the time, super successful, but his life hadn't really changed until Average at Best officially dropped more than 6 weeks later. All right, guys, let's get active on this one. Without further ado, hey! Come on.
What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Shout out to the CIA. One love to the FBI. What's going on? Kin folks and cousins, nieces and nephews. Yes. Godfather's still here in New York City. And if you've been on Instagram, you understand what's going on. First off, shout out to Godfather. Go ahead and a round of applause. Landed another brand deal today with Saks Fifth Avenue. Details coming soon. Tomorrow I'll be hosting a Killian event here, but long and short of it is I'm about 80% sure that I'm going to be relocating to New York City. Just like all the signs are pointing to Atlanta, all the signs seem to be pointing to New York City, which is a good thing because I love the city. But here's what I need you to do. Hot Lips in the house. Naeem ain't seen you in a minute. Girl, I thought you quit me.
Now, I wanted to show you guys the introduction real quick because he has such an iconic entrance, either between that song or the way he would just so smoothly get on the camera and just start greeting everybody. Now, the hotel that he's actually staying in is the one hotel, which is right underneath the Brooklyn Bridge up in Dumbo. Every time that he went to New York, he loved staying at that hotel. And a little bit of behind the scenes is that when we went down to Brooklyn to do the content, this is in the beginning of 2022, he was staying at that hotel. He was like, hey man, this is the hotel that I'm going to be staying at. I took a look at the prices. I was like, nah, I got some shit that was like 70% less the price. You know what I mean? Walking distance away. I'm like, man, that's too rich for my blood. But you know, Kevin was, he was on that bougie stuff. So anyway, let's get into the Tracee Ellis Ross conversation.
For a conversation. And you see the title of the stream. Happily single, but still open to high value men. And understand something. When these ladies are talking about they're happily single, women like Tracee Ellis Ross talking about she's happily single but still open, understand something. They aren't talking about being open to the guy who's working first shift down at the plant. They're not talking about being open to the guy who's an entrepreneur. They're talking about to straight up high value men. Especially at her age of 47. For those of you who don't know who Tracee Ellis Ross is, Tracee Ellis Ross, shout out to T.O. What's going on, Bam? Congratulations. Appreciate it. I think I'm going to have to come up with his own, between him and Ike, man, I'm going to have to come up with his own song. Ike got a song, Theo's going to need a song. But here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, Tracee Ellis Ross, the woman who thrust this thing into the current conversation is the daughter of one Diana Ross. Yes, Diana Ross is her mother. Here is Tracee Ellis Ross. I didn't want it that big, but there we go. Tracee Ellis Ross, her mama is Diana Ross. You know, the Diana Ross, the diva. Yes. And she has been in Hollywood, in popular entertainment for a long time. She was actually on a show called Girlfriends. her and, several other strong, independent, I don't need no man type, black women. These shows have been with us forever. Okay, living single, girlfriends, you name it, we have it. And I will say that, she is an attractive woman. She has a very nice body, especially for you guys who like nice butts. She's funny, talented, comes from good stock, as it were. But she's been unmarried her entire life. And not too long ago, about a year or so ago, Oprah Winfrey, the progenitor of this whole concept, interviewed her. Balls. And the subject came up. Now, I'm not going to play the interview. It's available here on YouTube. Go around and look at it. But
I'm going to play the interview.
I, like many of us, was taught to grow up dreaming of my wedding, not of my life. And I spent many years dreaming of my wedding.
Preach to the choir.
And also waiting to be chosen. Well, here's the thing. I'm the chooser. And I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single.
It's come back around this season in the magazine. On the cover of Shape magazine, Tracee Ellis Ross shared some notes on cultivating a productive relationship with loneliness. So this video, I'm going to be talking to women over 30 years old, to my professional women, my productive, competitive, successful women, presumably competitive. Presumably competitive. Productive, I'll give you. Successful, I'll give that. Competitive, I'm going to leave that out there. Are they truly PCS? They're PS, but maybe not PCS. And these women are professionals. Okay? Here we go. Reflecting on relationships, Ross says, people can be in wonderful relationships, but can't really reap the joy of that connection. Because you can have all the good stuff, but if you don't know how to be with it, it doesn't matter. I realize that I hold the idea of wholeness in great reverence and respect because my goal is to have an experience with myself that is whole.
Well spoken, but unhappy. Same thing in that recent interview.
And it goes on. And here's the thing. Kudos to you, Tracee Ellis Ross. Kudos to you, Oprah Winfrey, and all the predecessors in this line of thinking. I'm strong, independent, don't need no man, but I would like one if one came along. But here's the problem I have with this sentiment. It generally comes from women who are in entertainment or who are in entertainment. These women are typically in some form of media. They are not, not. The rank and file woman has to go in from Brooklyn to the catch the train from Brooklyn to Manhattan, or has to commute, from this side of Houston to that side of Houston. These women live a completely different life.
As I watched Kevin cook 4 years ago, it actually reminds me that one of the geniuses of Kevin is that he intimately understood exactly who he was talking to. Notice that none of his talking points ever reflected like the ratchet components of Black culture. He was specifically talking to 30-year-old corporate, successful, those that might identify themselves as a modern woman, a boss bee, right, doing big things, often encountering men that they felt were underneath them or that they were superior to. He was very good at identifying the type of people that he wanted to talk to and was talking to you as if he was right in front of you. brilliant talent, but he's absolutely nailing it right now as well. Think about all of the women that were in the comment section praising Tracee Ellis Ross for her commitment to be brave and show her emotion. Meanwhile, her thoughts and ideologies and her being of influence within entertainment to the masses, she talked through ideals and showed power through them, specifically when you look at that Oprah interview. But how many regular, if not average at best type women were impacted by the words that she said or were influenced by? In that Oprah interview, she's marketing herself as single and strong. And then you find out 5 to 10 years later that they're grieving the life that they've never had.
To where they have an amount of financial freedom and lifestyle that they can talk this kind of stuff. No offense, but it's really not attainable for nearly 100% of you. You have to be a star. You have to be famous to do what she's talking about effectively. Well, I don't want to say you have to be. You either have to do that or you have to be making significant six figures. We're talking $500,000 or more. It's not going to get there on $100K in Houston. And she goes on. She's also confirmed that she is happily single, but that she wouldn't pass up a good thing, explaining, that doesn't mean I'm not open to and don't want a relationship. You're 47, you're happily single, looking for a relationship of wholeness with yourself, but you wouldn't pass up a good thing. Then this good thing would have to be a man who's at least on her level, high value. High value, and what I mean, the income for the length of time, the network of high value, other high value men recognize him as a peer. The network is there. The visibility and the utility is there. Especially for a brother, you got to have those. She would not marry Black James Walsh. She may kick it with him, may date him but marry? No, not my opinion. But in my wonderful, robust experience with being single, I've learned to have a productive relationship with loneliness and an intensely juicy relationship with my joyful solitude. I really enjoy my company. The women like Tracee Ellis Ross make this stuff sound so fantastic.
Glamorous, yeah.
It's the sexing of the city of an entire generation.
Yeah.
Telling women that they can have it all. That you can have a productive, juicy, solitary relationship with your singleness and blah, blah, blah. And she said it in the interview. If I chose to get married, I could get married. Put a pause right there. So what kind of things does she do to spend quality time with herself? For example, some of the things I love to do pre-pandemic is to put on some cute and go for dinner and have a beautiful meal, a glass of wine. Well, you can't do that, you said. But you know what? I can do it at home. I make a beautiful plate, set it out, and have a glorious meal. I make my bed every morning. One of the things that's been lovely to discover is how to care for myself and how to actively love myself. I believe love is an action. You get back what you put in. She added that part of learning to love yourself is letting go of perfectionism. I used to spend so much time trying to be perfect, to get it perfect. That's not realistic. Bad feelings come up, she said. There's an element of risk or trying something different. To try the idea of what is the universe conspiring for good? Not necessarily mine, but what if I don't have the full picture? What is all this? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Look, this is some more than new age. You can have it all, sis. But what did she really say? Instead of having a relationship or a marriage, I used to put on a nice dress, go out and have a lovely meal by myself. But see, the pandemic has brought all this into focus. So she can't do that anymore. So what does she do? She gets up in the morning, makes a bed, and she's in the house by her damn self. Learning to love herself until it's time to cook a dinner and eat by herself. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Tracee Ellis Ross is happy. Good. But what I want to question is, can she really choose to get married if she want to. She said this in other interviews. Actually, go listen to The Breakfast Club.
All ego.
And if I wasn't worried about getting a copyright, I would play it. The Breakfast Club played the clip where she was being interviewed by Oprah. But many women like her believe, or would have us believe, that they can just go pick a man off the high value tree at any time and could easily walk into a relationship. Okay, let's talk about it. Over 35, happily single, but still open to a high value man. Many women say these things. I'm happy, but I'm open. But my question to all of you ladies is, can you be single too long? Can you be single too long? Well, let's see. I say you can. I say you most definitely can be single too long. You can be single so long that you're no good to anybody else. This is especially a trap or problematic for women who are professional. You can be single too long to where you are of no good to anyone else but you. Now, this is going to sting some of you guys, but we're going to have the conversation. If you are used to getting up, doing your own thing, you and because most of you ladies have a dog or a cat. Most of you have a dog. You have your own routine. You answer to no one. You may date. You have friends with benefits, people to scratch those itches. But if you are alone for most of your life, meaning uncommitted to one person, you have not learned or developed the relationship muscles. Let's look at some of the things that women like this tend to do. They tend to have long-distance relationships. Shout out to Darius. A lot of these PCS women, especially the professional PCS women, tend to have long-distance relationships. Uh-oh, we're going there tonight. Yeah, long-distance relationships. Why? Well, one of the benefits of a long-distance relationship is you don't have to worry about, all you have to do is worry about somebody for 2 days. See him on Friday, Saturday, gone on Sunday. You got to be your best for 2 days.
It's wild to me that so many women hated Kevin Samuels when you take a look at the things that he's saying. And it was just sort of that tough love that you need to listen to this in order to impact your life. If you want these results, the way that you're living or the decisions that you're making may not result how you think that they will. Now, where I thought he was going to go instead of long distance relationships is that they actually date younger men, just like Tracee Ellis Ross just recently admitted. And she actually said it within the context that older men are a lot more misogynistic or a lot more rigid within their ways. So that means to me is that she likes younger men that are a little bit more modern and thinking and ideology, right?
I talked about this that often I date younger men. And a lot the it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, "But why?" And I said, "Well, maybe because I can."
Yes, Parish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracee's.
It's fun. It's really fun to share.
Tracee tale.
But
you date a younger woman.
But one of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, "What is this about?"
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and so often, and it's not just that I'm older. I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity. and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, I have no interest in it.
Just like Tracee Ellis Ross just recently admitted. Now, she also said it in the context of that older men practice more toxic masculinity. And when you hear that, alarm bells should be going off in your head. Is that her typical prescription for how she considers herself within gender roles? She's completely outside of that. But now she utilizes these younger men to scratch that itch like Kevin is talking about. But the conundrum that she is that in order to get a high value man, one of which that she wants, because she can never date down, she's unwilling to get on the prescription of a man of value. So in order to scratch that itch, she's dating younger men.
But see, the real relationship happens Sunday through Thursday, when life is going on, when work is going on. And you got to get back to the person you're dealing with. You can't miss calls or times and all that kind of stuff. You know, all the little things that go along with an actual in-person relationship, you don't even get to taste that in a long-distance relationship. It's all upside. High-value men avoid women with a long history of long-distance relationships. Unless they're looking for friends with benefits, something sexual, then it's fine. But when these guys are starting to look for something long-term, you avoid women with who have a history of long-distance relationships. Guys, get the likes up. I'm already looking around, and I'm seeing them not up. I'm not seeing them up. Congrats on the brand deal. Appreciate it. Why the long-distance relationship? Well, because long-distance relationships basically allow people to feel like they're in a relationship without being in one. We're playing. Number two, they tend to have very active friend circles, but their friends are all in relationships of some sort. So it's almost like simulation. And this becomes a lifestyle. You know, looking in NFL City, a city that has a lot of young professionals. This can go on for a long time. Short-term monogamy, serial monogamy, in and out relationship, rotational dating, whatever you want to say it, the longer you're not in a one-to-one relationship with somebody, the worse your relationship skills get. To the point to where when you're somebody like a Tracee Ellis Ross who thinks she can just turn it off and get married or be in a relationship, women like her are woefully mistaken because there's something that's not quite right with them. I mean, the resume looks good. On paper, it looks good, but they're just a little bit off. It's kind of like trying to dance with somebody and they're just a quarter of a step off. There's just something a little off.
Something off.
And you can tell somebody who's not used to having to relate to somebody, check in with somebody, deal with somebody. Ladies, can you be single too long? Men can be single for a long time and not suffer these effects. You, on the other hand, can and will more often than not suffer these effects. I've heard this countless times over my life where a man is like dating someone, he likes her, but there's something just a little off and the relationship
fizzles, yeah.
And she's confused because it all lined up on paper.
Yeah. And I talk about this so often too, is that there's many young ladies that are out there that don't realize the idiosyncrasies within the relationship, how they speak to a man, where their mind generally goes when a man is interacting with them, right? their thoughts, their feelings, emotions that men pick up on. You know, we're not just emotionally stupid out there. We do notice shit. And we pick up on these different things. And then within our minds, we'll just place you in different buckets of how serious that we want to take you. Whether that be from commitment within a relationship or situationship, whether or not you know that you're in a situationship or not, all the way down just to demoting to butt. But there's many single women out there or somewhat single women out there that don't understand how annoying some of the behaviors of their traits are. And more often than not, just like Kevin is saying, it's because they've been without needing to be together with someone for so long, or they've never received that feedback, so they don't know.
But if you spend your time by yourself, ladies, you are the only person you have to make happy. You have you learn selfish, self-care, self-love kind of things, and that's fine. But what does that life look like if you're not a Hollywood celebrity or in the top 5 or the top 1% of earners in this country? What does it look like? What does that look like? What does that look like? It looks like dying alone. Oh, you're being hyperbolic, Kevin. That's not true. Oh, yes, it is.
And what's crazy is so many of them have chosen their lifestyles, and in part because they look up to these 1% entertainers or media figures that influence them within their decision. Oh, but wait. Even the media influencers are coming back later talking about that they grieve the life that they've never had. And the numbers just within Black women are actually scary. The median age at first marriage for Black women is 32, but for all women, 4 years younger. Never married, 47%, but for all women, 31%. And now married, just a quarter of Black women, and then double that is all women at 47%. With the marriage rate this low and this different amongst all other races of women, you gotta ask yourself, what's going on? And Kevin's work was to help to try to fix this. And believe it or not, Black women are less likely to be married than Black men. There are about 364,000 more Black men who are married than Black women. Let's finish up.
There is an epidemic in this country of highly educated, productive, successful, professional women, Black women in particular, who are single as French toast and cannot understand why they cannot keep a man. They can date men, high value guys. They can date productive, competitive. They can date PCS men. They can date Henrys, but they can never get the ring. There's always some kind of relationship history to where they blow it up or they pick wrong. It's sad. Because young women look at women like this and say, wow, she's attractive and she's professional and she's got the world, and can't understand why these women, while they say they're happy, you know, and let's take Tracee Ellis Ross at her word. She's happily single. Great. But the majority are not. Because life is about people. Life is about relationships. And you can't be single too long, ladies. That's why I have this thing called Danger Zone. The longer you're single, the harder it's going to be for you to get in a relationship. You can be single too long. Danger Zone. You can be single too long. And no one talks about this with women. It's always like, well, do what you want, have it how you want. And that's not true. Every freaking 3 months, the clock is running.
Guys, I'm gonna pause the content right here. I'm gonna leave a link to the full 3-hour stream down in the description box down below. Please go over there, watch the remainder of this, take a look at the calls. So many lessons to be learned. I know my surprise is that this is like 4.5 years ago. It's crazy how much has changed within that time, within our world, but then there's certain subjects like this that haven't changed much at all. But let's keep it real on this platform is what I always do. All right. Men are the gatekeepers of marriage. Newsflash. All right. Women decide who gets sex, but it's men who decide who gets commitment. And a man doesn't just willy-nilly hand over his last name, his resources, and his future to just anybody. It's a huge risk to us as men. So we have to be making an appropriate decision with an appropriate woman. So if a woman wants a ring, well, she's got to bring a lot more than her forever singleness, her looks, or her independence. She needs to be able to understand how she can bring peace, loyalty, femininity, sophistication, become an asset, add real value to his life. I remember one of the hot topics back at this time, back in like 2020-ish, 2021-ish, one of the hot topics was this what do you bring to a table discussion. And at that time, it's less likely now because there's so much content that's been created that's kind of reoriented people's minds. But I remember during that time, every piece of content that I uploaded that had to do with that, and the title used to blow up because so many women would take a look at that and they'd get the same old adage, tried and true, I am the table, I bring everything, the fork, the knife, the napkins, the spoon, and all of this shit. And they've stopped that because you put a mirror up to their face via the content to have them understand how ridiculous of an assertion that is. And you must understand that no matter what it is that you say that you bring, it is the man that inevitably decides. And that's why so many hated content like this and still hate content like this, because it brings purpose and power to a man's psyche, the way that he thinks about a woman, and as well as the decision criteria to end up with one. Men operate far more well, independently, naturally, than what a woman does. And Tracee Ellis Ross proves it. All right, guys, last but not least, RIP to the GOAT. Again, link to the content down in the description box down below. Go over there, continue to learn from the brother's content. And I guess last but not least, I miss you, man. RIP. Questions, comments, concerns. Y'all already know what to do. Me, go to turtlesandreviews@gmail.com. Guys, what do you guys think about the content as well? Drop me a line. Drop me some piece of content down below. All right. It is my absolute pleasure to continue to remind you guys of the genius of Kevin. All right. And I'm happy to do so on my platform. All right. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get